Hey guys, it's Henry again. So from my last video on this, I pretty much was going to give up because a new magneto for this thing was like $35 plus $10, so $45. It was between $45 and $55 and $65. I've seen them brand new, you know. And even the used ones were about $35, something like that. Well, I'm not going to spend $35 on this, obviously. I don't think any of you guys would, especially when you're not even 100%. I mean, I'm 95% sure it's the magneto, but sometimes you buy something and it still doesn't work, you know what I mean? So then you're in it for like $50 for this piece of junk, you know what I'm saying? So you definitely don't want to do that. So I was just going to part this out or sell it to some nut for $25 on Craigslist or Let Go or something like that. I actually had a lot of takers, you know. But I thought about it, and let me just see what happens, you know. And so between my YouTube comments and my Instagram, I got about 15 or so people who told me to clean the points with sandpaper. Yeah, and you know, and it's doable. And then I watched a couple of Donnie Boy videos on it, and he had one of his like very first videos he did for it, and it's very interesting. So you know what, I'm gonna give that a tackle. And everybody says that, you know, that's probably your problem, because it's a problem that always occurs on these things. So I'm gonna give it a try, and I'll have to take that shroud off and the flywheel and all that again. Taking it out. Lose that. Alright. Well, looks like the points are touching. Aren't they touching? They're touching. I don't think they're supposed to be touching. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta turn this for the lobe to move it. Everybody was telling me that I gotta use a 20 thousandths feeler gauge and put it in between there. Yep, it's capped correctly. See how the lobe is thicker there? Put it to the highest point there. And then you can do the feeler gauge. Kind of like doing a valve job. Not a valve job, valve adjustment, you know? But it feels okay. So I'm gonna take a, like they said, sandpaper, and I'm just gonna file that a little bit, clean it up, and I think that's it. Piece of sandpaper here. That's too thick. I'm just going to do that a bit. There's actually a small little arrow there. Can you see that? It's actually a little arrow right there. It tells you it has to be there for the highest point. Almost like similar to the top dead center kind of measurement, you know, timing. So I think I did it. I cleaned it pretty well. They also said to put a little bit of lube there, but you know, it's pretty good. I mean, just put a dab of some kind of a thing over here for lubrication, but not too much. So I'm going to put some WD-40 there, just to soak a little bit. And I think that's about it. So I put that cover back on. I'm going to put everything back together again and give it a try. Fail! Still don't get any spark, guys. Touch it, pull it. I'm expecting to get a shock. I don't feel a thing. So I think the magneto's just busted. That's probably just it, you know. Didn't work. Oh well, it was a gallant effort. Thanks guys anyway. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. See you guys later. So would you know it? I jiggled with this thing a little bit. Used pliers and tightened this metal thing around the coil a little bit, right? And I just gave it a pull just to see, and I got shocked. So I had spark. So I shot some carb fluid in there, gave it a couple of pulls, and it started up a little bit, you know? The carburetor needs to be cleaned because it wasn't getting fuel. It was only running on the fuel that I shot in there. But how about it, man? A second life. I'm gonna remove this carburetor now. First I'm gonna take this fuel line off. It's so damn hard to get those bolts out because they move around with the back too. So I'm just gonna flip it on its side like I have now and just take those 4 screws off and get that plate off the diaphragm and check it out. So while I remove that bottom plate there, I ripped the diaphragm. Yep, that's right, that's no good. So I don't know if I can get one of these again, nor do I feel like I want to. I'm thinking this is like one of those Tecumseh snowblower carburetors, you know, with the choke and stuff. Well, why don't I just go buy one of those $8 snowblower carbs and put it on? I think it'll fit. And I'm just going to take the gas tank off so that I get access to the intake manifold and take it off that way, and try to fit a another Tecumseh carburetor on there. Maybe that'll work. But the fuel hose is so brittle it just busted off, so I'll put a new one on there. So I retrofitted a Lawnmower Tecumseh carb on there. You know, this is your run-of-the-mill lawnmower kind. They're very cheap. They're only like $8, $9, something like that. Anyway, so it's got a primer bulb now, and I think the linkage is right, and it fit perfectly on the intake manifold. Got a new fuel line on there, and you know what? I'm just going to put some gas in it and give it a pull. My battery's dying, so I may have to come back. Hey, hey, hey! So I gotta get a new belt for that and oil the blades because it's seized. But how about it, man? Got it running. It's Frank! It's Frank, the guy that helped me out with that
Get your daily delivery.
Yeah, thanks buddy.
We may have another tip for you.
Ooh, really? Hold on. Hey guys, it's Henry from Mowers and Blowers again. Frank the UPS guy struck again. He gave me a call. So I'm back home now. And I'm gonna take this out. So this is the power washer I just got from a tip from my old buddy Frank the UPS guy. Frank the UPS guy strikes again. So you know, you guys gotta make friends with your UPS guy, man, because he's given me at least 5 or 6 tips, and I got some good stuff from his tips, you know. Remember, he's driving around all day. If he sees something, give you a text message. You zip out in your car or your truck, whatever, pick it up. It's a big advantage, man. This is nice, huh? Craftsman 7 horsepower overhead valve. Briggs. It's a little older. I could see that it's an auto choke. Well, it's not an auto choke because see, there's a primer there, right? But it also has a choke. So it's not an auto choke. No, it's an auto choke, it just doesn't have a primer, that's all. Yeah. You still got to put it to choke. Well, I guess first thing I'm going to do is check the oil, check the gas. If there isn't, I'll put some in and give it a pull. See what happens. Obviously, it doesn't have the hoses that came with it, but you know what? This is cool because my power washer, I gotta wind up those damn cords. You know what I mean? The hoses and stuff. This one's got one of these things. That's cool. Oil is like new and full. Some gas in it. I tried to start it, pulled it about 15 times, and maybe 1 or 2 times it kind of sounded like it wanted to. But we're gonna have to just take apart the carburetor. Check it out. 2 screws here, flathead. Wow. That's like new. Super clean. So, what am I thinking about this carburetor? I bet you it's really clean. Which, now I'm worried about why it doesn't start, you know? Those 2 bolts. Hey, I lost the M. Take off the air cleaner base. And a little twist. Sometimes you gotta use 2 hands. There you go, or 1 hand. I'm gonna take that 1/2-inch nut out the bottom. How about that? So, with the air filter being so clean and everything else looking so good, very surprising how we see a tremendous amount of sediment on the bottom there. Like sand. Surprising, really. Other than that, it looks okay. I'm going to blow out the holes and put it back together again. Other than the float bulb having that sediment on there, gasket's really good, really clean on the inside. Seat is clean too and looks new. Float very clean. Needle perfect. So it was only sediment in there. That'll do it. It'll clog up the holes and prevent it from starting, you know. So I cleaned that out. I'm going to blow some carb cleaner in the holes here. Try not to get any on the gasket because it'll blow up like a balloon and you'll never get that bulb back on there. Put everything back and I'm going to give it a pull. Incredible, huh? This is in good shape, man. I mean, just look at it. You know what I'm saying? Clean your shit. 2 seconds, man. That. That's all you gotta do. Makes a world of difference when you take pictures of this if you want to sell it. And also, here's a tip. Put your equipment on a nice green lawn. Don't put it on your driveway with concrete. Put it on a green lawn. The green contrast background looks much better, especially with something like this that's red. Of course, it is a power washer, so all I do is just like power wash it. You know what I mean? But look at that. It looks brand new, man. Anyway, so I'm thinking this, okay? I'm thinking that the people that used this took good care of it, except for 1 year, you know, they left it with gas in it, whatever, and that's why all that sediment was in there, broken down ethanol. And, you know, they tried to start it, or they were using it and it stopped, or it didn't work, whatever, and that was it. So I'm thinking the pump is still good, and this thing still works, because they threw it out because it didn't work, or didn't start, you know? Not because the pump didn't work. Maybe, you know? But what I'm going to do is, I have my own power washer here. I'm going to take the gun and the hose and hook it up to that and see if the pump works. Yeah. Okay, so now we know. He threw it away, not so much that it didn't start, but because the pump's busted. I don't know enough about these pumps that I would even think about fixing it. I know my boy Billy from Georgia really would know, but I mean, it looks like it's just that plastic part that's messed up, you know? Alright, well, it's probably not plastic. But it's a seal. Looks like it's just a seal. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if I took that apart and, you know, put some gasket maker there, it would seal that and then it would work. You know, I'm thinking maybe I should use the engine for one of my riding mowers without an engine. I don't think I've ever seen anybody put a push mower engine on a riding mower. Maybe I should try it and do it. What do you guys think? That might be a good idea. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I always appreciate your comments. I actually do what you guys tell me to because you guys are experts. Follow me on Instagram @MowersBuild.